Alright, this time let's add, subtract, and multiply numbers in I form. Okay, here is 5i plus 2i. And how do we add these two terms? Okay, just perform it as combining like terms. So this will be 5 plus 2. You know the adding coefficients? So add the coefficients of some variable x. But this is I, so add to 5 and 2 I. 5 plus 2 is 7i. How about subtraction? 5i minus 2i. Okay, perform it just like you are combining like terms. 5 minus 2 and then followed by I. 3i. Alright, how about next one? How about multiplying two numbers in I form, like 3i times 3i. Okay, then this is equal to 3 times 3. These all products, so multiply the numbers and then I times I. So I just rearrange the numbers and i's. Then 9 times I times I is I squared. Then what is I squared? Okay. Square root of negative 1 is equal to I. So I squared is you are squaring each side. So I squared is square root of negative 1 raised to the second power. Then what is this one? Then what is I squared? Okay, this one is negative 1. Why is negative 1? Because, do you remember the property? Radical property. Here is nth root of x raised to the nth power. If the power is same as the index, then you can take this x out. No matter what x is, so just bring it out. So in this case, the power is 2 and this is square root, so there is an index 2. So this power can kill this square root, so that negative 1 can get out. So I squared is always negative 1. Don't forget, I squared is what? Negative 1. So 9 times I squared is 9 times negative 1. That is equal to negative 9. Okay, so when you add, subtract, just combine it. Just work as combining like terms. And when you multiply, then we have I squared, and then I squared becomes negative 1. Okay, then let's do some examples in the textbook. Perform each operation. Alright, this one is, these are the numbers, the square root of negative numbers. Then what do we do first? Okay, we have to first write this expression in I form, just like the above examples. And then what? Then perform the operation just like using combining the like terms, as combining like terms. Okay, make sure that I is equivalent to square root of negative 1. Okay, so square root of negative 9 is, okay, square root of negative 1. This will become an I, and times square root of 9 plus square root of negative 1 times square root of 49. And square root of 9 is 3 squared, so it will become 3, and square root of negative 1 becomes I, plus 49 is 7 squared, and it becomes 7. Square root of negative 1 becomes I. So now we have two numbers in I form. Then what do? Combine it as like terms. So 3 plus 7 I, which is 10 I. Okay. So this is the result of adding two numbers of square root of negative numbers. Okay, next, another example, square root of negative 32 minus 2 times square root of negative 2. Okay, first what do? First we need to write this expression in I form. Square root of, okay, can I write it 32I? Because square root of negative 1 becomes an I, and 32 stays inside. Negative 2 times square root of 2I. Okay. Because this part is square root of negative 1 times 2. Then square root of negative 1 times square root of 2. And this part becomes an imaginary unit I. And then switch this to square root of 2I. Okay, so this will be this guy. Alright, then 32. 32 is, we have to write this 32 in a product of some squares. And 32 is 16 times 2. And 16 is 4 times 4. So square root of 32 is 16, which is 4 squared times 2I minus 2 square root of 2I. Then this is equal to 4 times 4 squared becomes 4, and 2 stays inside the square root I minus 2 square root I. Okay, there are two terms, and look at this one. Here is square root of 2I. Here is factors square root of 2I. It looks like these two are the common factors. So just like combining the like terms, why don't we add 4 and 2? Let's subtract 4 and 2. So 4 minus 2 times square root of 2I is equal to, finally, 2 times square root of 2I. So the final result is the expression has only I and some numbers in front of it as a coefficient. So this part is important. These two terms has common factor square root of I, square root of I. So factor it out and then add the coefficients. So 4 minus 2 followed by square root of 2I.